to the Virtual College Comeback Week, and welcome to the presentation, Confident to Career. My name is Eunice Cabrera, Retention Project Manager at Cuyahoga Community College, and one of my responsibilities is to connect with former Tri-C students to help them come back to Tri-C, connect them with resources, and help them, hopefully stay again and complete and graduate, celebrate with you at graduation. So now I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker. Her name is Natalie Harrington, and she's the Director of the Student Learning and Career Development at the Career Center at Cuyahoga Community College. So before I pass it on to Natalie, I just wanted to remind you that feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions during the presentation. If you can keep your microphone muted during the presentation so everyone can hear all the information. And again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to use the chat box to type them, and we will be happy to answer those questions and respond to your comments. So again, thank you, Natalie, for your time today. And now take it from here. I will stop sharing my screen.
It is my pleasure to join you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And yes, we might have some folks continue to hop in throughout the session, which is completely fine. I love the promptness of starting at 3 because we want to be able to utilize the time, but this is really your time. I do have a dedicated presentation that we're going to work through, but Daywana and Deja, I would love to hear from you just a little bit if you're willing to share, and you can take yourself off mute. You can also type in the chat, but I want this to be really valuable for you and a good use of your time. You know, it's really nice to attend workshops and things like this, but you want to walk away with something. And so if I can tailor the information that I have to share today for you and your purposes, that's what would make me really happy. And so if you could just tell me a little bit about, as you're thinking about coming back to Tri-C, maybe what is the career path that you were thinking about previously? Is that the same thing that you're thinking about, or is it kind of a question mark for you right now as what you are trying to pursue moving forward, but you know Tri-C is the place to get started? So any information you can kind of give me around that, that would be really helpful. Are either one of you interested in sharing that?
Certainly, I could share.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Tijuana.
So I want to be a physician. When, that's my ultimate career goal. I think I should start with Tri-C because it'll help me wean myself back into the schooling environment a little bit easier because it's a little smaller. It's closer to where I'm at. I want to potentially transfer over to a 4-year so I can get my bachelor's and work towards, getting a doctorate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I would start with the Associates of Science pathway, I believe.
That's great. What type of physician? Any specific type of doctoring work? There's so many of them out there.
I don't know yet. I'm thinking about dermatology, if not family medicine. There's a couple of fields that I'm very interested in, so I'm not sure as of yet.
No, that's great. That's super helpful. And not having all of the answers is completely okay. And that's really what we're here to help with. So me knowing you that you've got a pretty good kind of direction that you're thinking about, but there's still some question marks there, that's going to help me share the right type of information with you. So thank you so much for sharing. We're excited to have you back. That's great. Deja, are you willing to share a little bit of information just about yourself, kind of what you're thinking as far as career, or what might be holding you back from making a decision? Any of those pieces?
Yeah, sure thing. So, with me, I kind of want to continue the direction I was already going while I was attending before. I wanted to get do either a 2-year or a certificate for to be an X-ray tech.
Yeah.
I was really into radiology. That was one of the paths that I really wanted to, get something up under my belt so that I can attend it for a year. So I want to do that as well. But I've been looking into some paralegal programs right now in the field that I'm in. I'm in food and beverage, but I work in human resources.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to not get out of that, but continue group things that I can put together with what I'm already doing, and what I want to do. So that's
Absolutely.
mainly it for me.
No, that's so helpful too. And I like you're really interesting. You've got a bunch of different pieces that are very different, but also still kind of connected in as far as the
Exactly.
skill
Yeah.
sets. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's what's the most challenging for most of the folks that I work
Yeah.
with is
That's what it is
going,
for me.
what can I do that it utilizes those skill sets and those areas of expertise that I already have, but maybe in a little bit of a different way that still allows me to expand my possibilities, but feel confident in knowing that I'm going to be really good at this. And so I just have to tell you, when my undergrad was in education, and for a very long time, high school education. So I'm certified 4th through 12th grade English language arts. I'm still in education, but just in this higher ed field. And every single time that I got really frustrated with my classes, I thought I should have absolutely picked radiology. That's what I should have done. It would have been so fun. And so anyway, maybe that's my one day career. And so I appreciate both of you sharing that. I think that's really interesting in that, there's a lot of ties between human resources and paralegal as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
that you're using a lot of those same skills yet, but also like if you are dealing with people that cross over into radiology,
Yeah, I
that
really
can
love
be a
dealing
good
with
fit as
people.
well.
I'm very people oriented. So, and I love helping people. And
Yeah,
I've always been extremely interested in the healthcare field.
sure.
So I think going towards healthcare, that was one of the main things that I was very interested in. That's why I kind of started there once I picked
Okay.
back up on education, coming to Tri-C.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So thank you both. I really appreciate that. That's super helpful. I'm going to really try to tailor what we talk about today right in those areas. And my biggest thing, the reason this is called like confident to career, I want you to be able to feel really confident in the choices you're making because, as we go through our career path and we're studying, Dayana, you're going to have, that's a lot of school ahead of you. You're going to lock and load for a long time. And so when
I
you
heard.
when you've got that motivation, when you have that confidence and you can see that end goal really clearly, that's what's going to move you forward when it gets really hard. And so very frequently we will have students come to Tri-C and they know it's a great place to get started. And there might be some question marks there, but when things are fuzzy and things get hard, it's really tough to motivate yourself to move forward and to navigate those challenges. And so I think for both of you, you kind of are at different points, but you've got some good visions for what's ahead, and there's some kind of choices still to be made. Do you want to deciding between maybe dermatology or family medicine, and then for you, Deja, like you've got kind of three pathways. And I think when we're making decisions about career, what I always recommend is parallel paths. And so not a plan A and a plan B, because that means you're going to go on plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, then you're going to stop that and then you start plan B. But instead, those parallel paths, so as you are exploring them consecutively, when one, you get enough information to decide maybe this isn't right for me, you're already moving along another one. And so I think encouraging you to continue thinking about these things and adding the pieces of the puzzle. I would say whenever I work with anybody around career, some people will come in and say, I have no idea what I want to do. And I said, but you do. You just only have pieces of what you want to do. And so how can we continue to add pieces to the information set that you have around career to make you feel really confident? And so in this kind of hour that we have together, I want to share with you about how the Career Center at Tri-C can help you as you return back. The Career Center is one of those places that students are sometimes intimidated maybe to come at first, or it's just overwhelming because, you come in as a student and you're just trying to figure out, okay, right, this is my class schedule. These are the things that I absolutely have to do right now to just stay afloat in this. And then there are all these other kind of student service areas throughout the college that we are 100% here to help you. And we understand that that is a little bit overwhelming, stressful at the beginning, but you tend to just get kind of laser focused in, and then you'll forget that there's all of these other pieces. And so I always like students to know, what can we do so that when you need us, you know where we are, and we're just always kind of sitting here as a support system for you, but it can add to those puzzle pieces that you know are available to you. So I'm going to start, and I want to walk through what are the different ways that you can interact. I've worked at 3 different institutions in career services, and Tri-C is very unique in some of the things that we offer. And I think they're going to be really helpful to both of you to continue to add those pieces of confidence. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If at any point you can't see it, you can't hear me, please just put like, don't raise your hand, just hop right on and say like, Natalie, your screen just went black, because technology is really fun until it's not. Sometimes it's just doesn't work. I don't want you to be able to see all of the things. So give me a thumbs up, give me a reaction, take yourself off mute. Can you see the screen right now? Is everything okay visibly?
Yes.
A+. Okay. So the Career Center is not just at one campus. We have a Career Center location at each of our campuses. We do not have a physical presence at the Brunswick campus. However, I travel over to Brunswick campus. So if either of you wanted to meet in person there, we could. But we do have a Career Center at every single campus. And so what I'm showing you right now is something that we call a hot card. We physically print it every semester. And on the front side of it, there are all the ways that you can connect with us and just kind of our contact information, where we're located, those kind of things. But then also on the back of it, and I'm going to show you the back a little further through this presentation, are all of the events that we have going on. So you may have heard Eunice and I kind of chatting a little bit as you first popped in. We have 3 events just today that are happening. We have events that are happening all the time, and not all of them are going to be healthcare related. We do it across all 200 majors and workforce development programs. We really offer across the gamut. And so you are welcome to go to any of these that are interesting for you for free. And so sometimes there is a deposit to be put down on the events, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we return the deposit back to you. And that's just because students really like to RSVP for things and not attend. And so we want to make sure the folks that have RSVP'd are the ones that are coming. And so we put that in place. But you can stop in any Career Center. It does not have to be your campus of main attendance. You can come to any of us. You can work with any of the coaches. We can meet with you virtually. We can meet with you in person. And I know it says there that our office hours are 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, but all of our coaches are as flexible as possible. So if I have a student that is working during the day and they need an evening appointment, I will flex my schedule to meet with them in the evenings. I prefer it not to be a weekend, but sometimes that's just like what happens. And so you can always make the ask. We can't always accommodate, but we really try to do our best. So I just never want that to hold anybody back from utilizing our services. So there's kind of 3 main buckets of how we can help and support you from the Career Center. We're going to talk about each one of these in depth, but a snapshot is we provide one-on-one coaching. And again, that can be virtual or in person, whatever is your preference and most convenient for you. And you can see on your screen those different options that we have and how you can interact with us. So the things that most people come in for, we work on resumes because we approach it from the concept of what employers are looking for. We talk with recruiters all day, every day. We are really well connected in to the healthcare facilities across Northeast Ohio and beyond. And so we know what they're looking for. So we're going to help you build a resume that stands out as a candidate when you're applying post-graduation, but also that so you can use it while you're here. You're gonna have a lot of networking opportunities to talk with employers and start building relationships. We just had last month a Cleveland Clinic Career Day. It was taking place on every single campus. We had folks that were coming in from across the entire spectrum of Cleveland Clinic, all that they hire for. And so talking about internship opportunities there, talking about clinical hours, what does that look like? Talking about coming in one role and then how Cleveland Clinic supports your education so you can continue to grow and advance with their organization. So we do that with all kinds of different folks. And you want your resume to be ready so that when you go to one of those networking events, you're able to trade your resume for one of their business cards, make some notes about the conversation that you had with them during that, and then walk away afterwards and be able to follow up. And so resumes are so important, not just as you're nearing you're part of graduating, but throughout your entire time here. We have so many different internship opportunities. We'll talk about that a little bit too, but resume is one of the biggest things. The next thing is the career exploration and planning. And we're going to talk about different ways that you can do that today. That's really our goal, is to build confidence in that. We also help with LinkedIn. We help with networking. We help with mock interviewing. And you can do that in a variety of settings. So if you like one-on-one, that's fine. We also do live virtual workshops just like this every semester across many of the different categories that you'll see on your screen. And then we have recorded on-demand workshops, so that if you know you're somebody that your brain really turns on and you're good at like 11 p.m. at night, you can watch those at your own convenience. And so we try to have those available to you as well. And those are all on our website. The second bucket and the kind of way that we really help is through career exploration. And so career exploration doesn't mean just for somebody that has no idea what they want to do in their career. Like we kind of talked about, both of you are at different places right now. And so we do have individualized career coaching, and that talks about that career planning aspect. We have career assessments. I'm going to show you one of those today. I think it'll be a really valuable tool for you to be able to utilize independently as you kind of explore and think about your next steps. And then we offer job shadowing, which I think could be great for both of you. So one of the things that makes Tracy Career Center unique, I had mentioned, worked at a few different locations in career services. I've never seen this before anywhere. And even in talking with all of the other career centers across Northeast in Ohio, nobody has this but Tri-C. And so it makes it really valuable. We have a dedicated job shadow program. And we're going to talk about what that means here in just a couple of minutes, but job shadowing gives you the opportunity to go out and stand in the space of people doing the work that you are considering and having conversations with them. And so there are places that talk about that in career centers, but we find the person for you. So if you said, you know what, I really want to go and I want to do a job shadow with a dermatologist, and I also want to do a job shadow with a family physician because I want to see what that's like. And so then maybe you go, you know what, after doing that, I really think I'm leaning towards family practice, but I want to go and see what it looks like to be a physician at different types of family practices, because you can do the same thing at multiple places and it feels different because of the environment you're working in. Just like if I went and worked in a different career center at a different institution, it's going to have a different feel. And so the work that you're doing is really important, but the environment that you're doing the work is equally important. And sometimes we just don't think about that. I started my undergraduate, as I mentioned, in education, teaching 4th through 12th grade, and I taught at 4 different high schools, always 10th through 12th grade English language arts. And every one of those schools felt different, even though my job description was exactly the same. And so that's one of those pieces of career exploration that is not available everywhere that we have here at Tri-C, and we would love for you to take advantage of. Additionally, we do informational interviews and set you up with folks that are doing the work. So if you say, you know what, I'm not sure that I want to go out just yet, I'd rather have some conversations first, we would connect you in with folks that are doing the work so that you can have those conversations. And those typically happen virtually. And so again, the resource I'm going to show you today could help you form the questions that you might want to ask somebody that's in that industry area. We also do company tours. I think we have 5 bus tours going on this month alone, where we will take you out to different companies for a very short-term experience. It's typically less than an hour at each one, but it's kind of mini job shadow. You get to talk to people that are doing the work there. You get to go to multiple places that are doing the same thing so that you can compare. And then the last part, internships and co-ops, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but those are all different ways that you can explore and become more confident in your career choice. The third bucket is career events, just in general. And so those are more hiring type events. We have virtual info sessions with employers. We do employer panels, we have career fairs, and then we have general hiring events. And they all look a little bit different. And typically they are tailored around an industry area. So we have healthcare specific career fairs. And what's nice about that is instead of going to a big career fair where there's all types of different employers hiring, everybody that's there would be hiring in the healthcare field industry area. So those are just some of the pieces that we do and kind of the three main areas we can assist. I want to pause for just a second. I recognize that's a lot of information and we're going to go into some of those more in depth, but do you have any initial questions just about how we can kind of support you in your confidence to career while you're here at Tri-C? And if not, that's okay too, but I just wanted to pause for a moment and ask.
No, I don't have any questions at this time, but I am learning a lot along the way.
Okay, great. Well, that's what we're here for. So that makes me very happy. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay. Well, like Eunice said, if you have questions, you can pop them in the chat. If you're like me, you're gonna forget in about 20 seconds if you don't get to write it down somewhere. So feel free to put it back in there and then we'll come back as well. Okay, so I had mentioned we have career coaches at every campus. I just wanted to show you some more faces to put with names. We'll get emails from us through the Career Center. It's just nice to know the folks that are there. We are a very passionate team. Typically, there are 5 faces on the screen. We actually are going to have some openings for new career coaches. So we will be growing our team here in the next few months. We're always excited to welcome them in. But these are our current faces, and we cover all the campuses, as I mentioned. Additionally, we're co-located with the Transfer Center. So I know one of you is thinking about going on. You're going to need a 4-year institution post Tri-C. And so we are co-located in each career center with the Transfer Center. And so within the Transfer Center, we help you prepare and develop professionally while you're here at Tri-C through the Career Center. And the Transfer Center helps you prepare for what's next if you are transferring to a 4-year institution. And so what they do is you could say, you know what, I'm really looking to go into radiology. And so help me think about if it's a 4-year degree that I'm going to need. I know I can do a 2-year degree, the technical piece of it, but maybe I'm going to switch over and instead I'm going to do human resources. So I like to explore some of the options and programs for human resources, and that's going to help me make my decision between the 2 majors. And so what they'll do is they'll ask, are there any specific criteria you're looking for within that major? And so within that, they'll say, here are some colleges that we have program articulation agreements with. And when you do this here at Tri-C, this program, it's going to transfer directly over to this school. This is how many credits you'll have to finish. This is about how much time. If you do this many credits a semester, they can help you with all of those things. And for in-state schools and out-of-state schools, they're amazing and have a vast knowledge of all of the partnerships that we have with 4-year institutions. So we are physically located in the same area within Tri-C, but just not the same offices. So 2 separate offices, same area, but I wanted to put that on your radar as well. Our career exploration team are the folks that kind of did all those things in that middle bucket that we talked about. And so they are creating that programming, those bus tours, those information sessions with employers. So again, just faces to put with names. So we had talked about this a little bit already. I think visual is really helpful. The difference between job shadow and informational interview and how those might be useful to you. Just a quick reminder, job shadow is in person, on site, being able to have those conversations, stand in the shoes of the person doing the work. Informational interview is the conversation that you have, and it's typically virtual. And then you could set up a job shadow after that as well. But I'm going to send this full presentation to both of you after this is over. And so I just wanted to point out, if you are interested down here, once you are enrolled in classes, it can be as soon as you're able to do this, you can click on this link and it will take you in to sign up and tell them what kind of job shadow you're interested in. So I just wanted to point out where this information was if you needed it. This is just a quick snapshot of some of the events that we had up today that are around career exploration. And so hospitality bus tour, I know Deja, you're moving away from hospitality industry, but we kind of go all over the place. And then these continue. We have an entirely different list for the rest of the semester, and we do it all semester long. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you today is a tool that I think might be helpful for you and for both of you. And we are launching it this semester. This is brand new to Tri-C. And even though we are called career coaches in the Career Center, the platform itself, the tool, is called Career Coach. And it's one of the assessments that I mentioned previously. And so Career Coach allows you to do a lot of things in a very easy to navigate format. So it helps choose major. It helps you plan for your careers, and it helps in exploring options. And so, like we talked about, gathering all of that data is really important. And it does it in a few different ways. One of the ways is taking a career assessment. And so you're going to see that option here. And so I'm going to share this link with you. Like I said, all these pieces, I'm actually going to show it to you live here. I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint and just show you the program itself. But what it allows you to do is take an assessment. It's 60 questions. And through that assessment, it helps you gauge your interest areas. But it's not just general interests, like things that you are interested in as a fad. These interests are your core interests and values. And so it's kind of amazing because it has you do it in a way that you're like, what kind of information could you be getting from this? And it is not a knowledge-based assessment. It is going to have you rate 60 different activities. And in those activities, it might ask you something like, how much fun does it sound to build a brick walkway? And then you're going to rate that on a scale from not interested at all to like very interested. And so what I want to do right now is just give you a little mind setting for this before you do it, because somebody hears that and they go, I do not want to do that for the rest of my life. And that's not what the assessment is asking. So what I want you to think about if you decide to do this assessment is, would I be interested in doing that for a day? Does it sound like fun? Does it make me feel excited inside to be like, yeah, that sounds great? And so when you think about it from that perspective, not every day for the rest of your life, but just for a day, and you answer it through that mindset, it goes through and pulls aspects out of those 60 questions that's going to say, okay, you know what, Deja, based on your responses, here are general kind of occupation areas that you want to consider. And within these occupation areas, here are specific job titles that are really going to align with your core interests and values. And it actually gives you a percentage of confidence like within that. And then you're allowed to explore those careers. So I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But it also gives you a really nice kind of report that comes at the end that's easy to read. It captures all of that information, and it gives you information about yourself and why that's going to be a strong fit for you. It uses something called Holland Code. And Holland Code, there are 6 traits within every single person. Some of those are our lead traits. In fact, 3 of them are what are considered our lead traits, meaning if I am working in an industry area that uses those top 3 lead or just top traits, I'm going to feel really successful in the work that I'm doing because it aligns with my interests and my values. And what I have happen really frequently is I have folks across the entire career spectrum. I've had folks that have gone into dentistry and come into my office and say, Natalie, I've been doing this for the last 20 years. I can't do it anymore. I need help figuring out what is next. And what we find when we look back is it looked really good from afar. And they knew some things about it, but they didn't know how those things that they knew about it would align with what they needed to feel successful. And so that's what those traits look like. And if you can find what your top 3 traits are, then you can look at careers based on those traits. And so this is what it's going to allow you to do through this tool called Career Coach. It gives you a lot of tactile hands-on data as well. So I'm somebody, I want to know all the pieces. I want to know how much money I'm going to make. I want to know if the career that I'm choosing is in demand in the area that I live in, or am I going to need to move to work in this area? And so as we're considering those types of things, this tool gives you all that as well. So I'm going to stop sharing right now on that PowerPoint, and I'm going to bring up the tool live so that you can see it. So give me just a second to kind of navigate through that, and then I'm going to reshare my screen. And so when you go to Career Coach, it is going to look like this. And so it's just try-c.lightcastcc.com. And again, the link for this is right in that PowerPoint that I'm going to send out. So you'll have that. And this is what the main page looks like. You can either come down here and click on take the assessment, or if you just click on assessments, you can go to that too. And you're going to notice it asks, do you want 6 questions or 60 questions? I'm always going to encourage you to do the 60 questions because it's really going to get to know you well. And so, as I mentioned, I don't want you to think about this as every day for the rest of your life. I also, when you take this assessment, even though it's going to give you those components of how much you're going to be paid, what kind of education you're going to need to be able to do that work, when it's asking you the specific questions, don't think about those, which I know is really hard, but kind of take that out of the equation for you. And so what I mean by that is, if we look at this, and so building kitchen cabinets, this is the first activity. So first you're going to think, would I like to do this for a day? And then second, I want you to go, does it sound fun? And then I want you to rate this. So strongly, like you would like to strongly disagree with building kitchen cabinets means if I called you and said tomorrow, let's go do this, you would say, Natalie, you don't know me at all. That sounds like a terrible day. I'm absolutely never going. This would be like, you know what? That doesn't sound great. I don't want you to choose unsure because that is not going to be helpful to you. You are sure. You just have to give yourself the permission to like something or not like something. Agree would be like, you know what, Natalie, that sounds like fun. I would come and do that with you. And strongly agree would be like, I already had plans, but I'm canceling those plans because that sounds like the most fun for a day. And so when you take this assessment, you go through all 3, then it is going to give you a feedback report that looks like this with a percentage in each box of how closely you match to the careers that it lists. And then you can search by overarching category, kind of like what we talked about. So if we went to business administration and we clicked on that, it's going to give us some different specific job titles within that we can then explore farther. So for example, if we clicked on human resources, it's going to tell us the percentage that we match based on those Holland Code traits, those top 3 lead traits. Eventually it will load on your screen and then you're going to be able to explore it through different capacities. So we're going to give it a second here. So remember, I always said technology is fun till it's not. There we go. So it's going to break it down even more. And it's going to say within human resources, there are all types of different capacities of human resources that you might be interested in. And it's going to give you your match to those too. And so as you look at that, then you can come over here and say, you know what, I just want to do an associate's degree to start. And I want to be able to work with just an associate's degree. And you can change it over here to be able to align with the level of degree you want. Then as you go through, when you click on the different ones, it's going to give you that data that we had talked about is important. So it will tell you a median salary, but I really want you to pay attention to this part of it. So it gives you new workers and then normal pay and then highly experienced workers. Because I think when we do any of our independent research about job, it typically will come up with national data and it's always the average. It doesn't tell us what we're going to start at versus where we can grow into. And then over here, it also lets you select by region. So again, a lot of the time when you do research around a career, it is national data. And we want to look closely. So you can see that number just jumped. It came down from about 600. The salary will change based on that radius as well. And you can even zoom in and then it continues to change the radius and the information it gives. And then down here, it will show what programs do we have at Tri-C that align with the direction that you want to go. So you can go through, you can click on about, you can see a list of daily tasks. What are they actually doing in that work? What level of education am I going to need? What are the hard and soft skills that our employers are looking for? So Deja, as you think about that transition over from human resources to possibly paralegal, to possibly radiology, and you're trying to say, okay, what skills do I currently have that are going to transfer over? I'm going to show you here just in a minute. You can do a direct search for the careers that you're thinking about and then compare that information. But you can start to look through these and say, you know what? I already have skills in leadership and communication and writing and Microsoft Office. I use those every day. And that's going to transition over into paralegal. And that's going to help build that confidence too. So as you go through all kinds of other information, again, we talked about wages. We want to see what that growth looks like. We can look at employment and see what does the trend of positions in that area look for, and also what are employers in this specific area that are hiring for this job title? And then employment projections as well. And then lastly, you can go in and look at those live job postings if you want to get a more accurate feel for what it looks like. So you can work through all of these pieces based on that assessment, or you can come up here and you can search directly by careers. And so if we say doctor and spell it correctly, that's always helpful, and click search, then it's going to kind of do the same thing. And it's going to go in and say, you know, there's all types of different doctors. And so it breaks that down. And then you can dig through that level of information and say, you know what, I'm thinking about family practice. I'm thinking about dermatology. I'm thinking about these different pieces, and go through those same stages where you dig in and say, okay, I'm going to look at orthopedic surgeons and then walk through that information. So again, I want to pop, ooh, it says, no, we're not going to get you straight to orthopedic surgeon, but you are right. You had already said, like, I'm going to do associate of science and I'm going to transfer over. So no worries about that. Questions I can answer for you about Career Coach in general. And I would just love to hear a little feedback. Do you think this might be a helpful tool for you to utilize in your exploration?
Yes, I think it would. It definitely gives me a perspective and a range of what's reasonable for me to work towards. Because I
Yeah.
know myself, sometimes I can like overwhelm myself trying to do everything. So this will give me like a good starting point, a starting block to see how I should pace myself so that I could reach my goals as effectively and as, correctly as I can.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think too, like looking at the employers that hire and then seeing like what are events where they're going to be on campus so that you could go and talk to them about opportunities in those areas to get a more like hands-on feel. That could be another way you could use it too. So thanks, Daywana. That's great feedback. Deja, anything from you? Are you feeling like this would be a helpful tool, or any questions I can answer for you within that so that you can go back to it, kind of navigate it independently?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I definitely think that it would be helpful for me because main thing being, so I have a lot of experience and I utilize a lot of the skills
Yeah.
day to day that will go hand in hand with the career paths that I'm interested in. So I think that it'll help me narrow it down to like specifically what is it that I truly want
Yeah.
by being able to be asked those specific questions, okay, so what is it that you actually like? Because um, I've been more so like of a people pleaser, and it
Yeah.
has helped me do an excellent job at my jobs that I, have done.
Yeah.
However, it only hindered me in the way of what is it that I actually want to do, being helpful to other people, and, having the experience as an assistant is kind of like, okay, so yeah, thanks for being helpful, but I need to kind of help myself and know where it is that I want to go. So I
Absolutely.
think that that's how to help me.
Well, and you know what, I'm gonna show one other thing here. Actually, I'm gonna go a little bit off book because, like I said, I wanted this to be tailored for you, and I think this would be helpful if anybody came back and watched the session later too. In addition to utilizing Career Coach, there's also this website called ONET, and I hear you saying, Deja, you're like, I kind of want to look at my job. What are the pieces I like about this? And really identify that. And so I'm going to show you this in a little bit of a different way. This is completely free. You don't need a username or a password to use this. This is a national tool. It is not something that is specific to Tri-C, but you could go in and so if we put human resources in here, we can bring up kind of the work that you're doing right now. So you said currently you're human resources assistant. Is that
Yeah, so
accurate?
I'm an administrative assistant in human
Okay,
resources.
got it. So if we came in here and we clicked that, then this is similar to some of the information that you can get through ONET. Again, it's more national data, but this task list up at the top, you can open that up. So similar to the task that's in Career Coach, but this one allows you to interact with it. So you can come down and click this find occupations related to multiple tasks,
Mhm.
and it turns that task list into a checklist. And so
Oh,
you can go through and say, you know what, when I think about what I want to do next, or if I want to transition careers, these are the things out of human resources assistant that I'm really interested in doing, and press go. And it will tell you actually what you might want to think about is doing this, because that's closer to those things that you were interested in doing. So just as another option, you can do that too with radiology. You could go in and do the same thing with paralegal and then
Sure
use
thing.
that task list. So just another maybe tool that you can use. And I will make sure to send you both the link for this as well. It's
Thank you so
just,
much.
you're welcome. It's a simple, just, you can just Google ONET too and it'll come right up, but I love it. So great. Those are my two, like, when somebody comes in and they're like, I need to know this data, that's where I always hop into too. I just feel like if you've got the right tools, the world's your oyster as far as that goes. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hop back in to the PowerPoint and just share a couple more things with you. And of course, if you've got questions along the way, we're going to hop right in there. So, one of the things that I mentioned we talk about a little bit more as we moved through were the internships and the co-op experiences here we have at Tri-C. And if either of one of you go into healthcare career fields, you will have field experience built into your majors. Like you will get that hands-on experience. If you decide to go into something that doesn't require you to have a field experience within healthcare, then internships are a really great opportunity for you. We do a summer internship program here where we have about 150 opportunities both on and off campus for students to apply to. They are paid experiences. They're $15 an hour. It gives you 100 hours of experience in that area, and you could do one summer, you could do one a different summer. And again, it just gives you some of that hands-on experience. And of course, we offer internships throughout the rest of the year. We just have the most through that program in the summer. So just putting that on your radar. And then for both of you, I don't think either one of you will have a co-op required for any of the programs that you choose, but a co-op means that it is an experience that must be paid, that's required by the major itself. So when you look through the program sequence, it will say internship or co-op experience requirement. You're enrolled in a class for that. And so we work to actually get you what's called ready to go. So we help you with your resume, we help you with your interview skills, and then we help you with finding opportunities for you to apply to that connect in. So I just wanted to let you know, depending on which way you go, that's something that we really encourage. Anytime we talk to any employer, they're like, we look for somebody that has had an internship experience in the area that they're applying to. And I know it was a frustration for me coming out as a teacher and starting applying places, and they would just constant, we're looking for somebody with more experience than you have. And I said, how do you get experience when you don't have experience? Like, it's just one of those conundrums, right, that we go through in career. And so doing those internships, those co-ops, and having your field experience through dedicated healthcare programs is going to be really beneficial to you. So just wanted to kind of toss that out there as well. We had kind of talked about how the Job Shadow program is unique to Tri-C, and having an employer relations team that dedicatedly helps you search for opportunities is also very unique. So I mentioned a couple minutes ago, we do what's getting you called ready to go. And what that means is you come in and you work with a career coach, and we work on your resume and we practice those interview skills. And then we go through that process of directly connecting you with one of our employer relations team members. So you can do that for internships while you're here at school, but we also help you in the job search process when you're getting ready to graduate as well. So knowing that you have a person, all the faces on your screen, their main job is to work with employers that want to recruit from Tri-C. And so having a person to help you make that connection and not just feel like you are putting your resume out into the internet abyss and just hoping for the best. It's so nice to have that person in your corner and be able to say, you know what, I've seen these positions that are posted. This is why I'm interested in these places. This is a place I'd really love to apply and get a job out. Do you happen to have a connection there? I've applied to this position. Would you be willing to reach out? And that's what this team does. And that is very unique to Tri-C. So at any of the institutions I've worked at, that is, they do have employer relations team members typically in the Career Center, but that's not something that they do. So very, very valuable to you as well. I saw your heart, Deja. I'm glad that that was going to be helpful to you. So we've talked about a lot of different tools already, but I just want to also let you know that we have a really robust website. You can navigate through this now to kind of see what's available to you, but that pink students button is always really helpful. It takes you into our Career Center library. It has all of our resources for resume and professional dress and cover letter and negotiation and navigating, all of the pieces. It's all right there for you. So you can access our Career Center library at any time. We also have this workshop schedule that has those on-demand videos that I mentioned earlier where you can watch the pre-recorded sessions. Full disclosure, 2 of 3 of them are me. So you get a lot of me if you watch the videos, but at least they're accessible. You can pause me, mute me whenever you want to, so they're there. So one of the last pieces I just wanted to share with you is at Tri-C, we offer a handshake platform. And depending on when you were enrolled with us previously, we might not have had this. So this is newer to us, but I would say not new anymore. It actually launched during the pandemic, which was an interesting experience to launch something that's called Handshake during a time when we're not supposed to be touching other people. And so this is our career management platform. And so I always say it makes suggestions like Netflix. The more you interact with it and it learns what you're looking for, it's going to be able to better tailor opportunities and make suggestions for you. It allows you to interact with like LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn is a social media professional network that allows you to connect with other people, to send direct messages, to ask about career opportunities, to ask about companies, and have an actual like network base. So LinkedIn allows you to do that not only with employers, but also students that use it across the United States. So you can do company research and ask other students at other institutions that have worked at the company that you are interested in working and what their experience is working there. And so that's really valuable as well. And the last piece, it helps you research like Glassdoor. So Glassdoor is a website. There are pieces of it now that are free. Some of them are paid, but it allows you to go on and kind of see like Amazon reviews for companies, if you will. So there are reviews posted by folks that currently work there or previously worked there. And it gives you an idea of what is it like as an insider to work at that company? What did somebody like? What did they not like? And Handshake does the same thing. So instead of having to go to all of these different places to find this information, you can research all of these things through Handshake. Every single student, as soon as you enroll in classes, you have a Handshake account. You just have to go in and activate it. And then it allows you to do the things that we just talked about, but it also allows you to schedule appointments with the Career Center. So we have a 24-hour scheduling system. You can go on anytime that's convenient for you. You're also able to click on the events tab in Handshake and see all of those different types of events and register for those that we talked about. You're able to do that employer research that we talked about. You're able to network and inbox and message other users and then search for jobs and see what opportunities are available from folks that are hiring directly from Tri-C. So it all lives in Handshake. Really easy to navigate. We've got big old appointment buttons that you click on. It allows you to choose which campus, whether you want to do it in person or virtually, anything that's going to be helpful for you. And then it also has an app, so you can control everything from your smartphone, which I know it's so much more convenient. So just know that there's that as well. So scheduling is just as simple on the app. So on the back of our hot card, we show all of the career events, or at least a snapshot of them. But like I said, they all live in Handshake. You are welcome to register for any of them that are interesting to you. This is just kind of a view of some of the things that we're doing this semester. So like today, we have got 3 events going on. We're doing this. We have a business and IT career fair. We're offering professional headshots. So we have a photographer come in, set up a giant light booth. You get to come dressed professionally. We take multiple professional photos of you. They get edited and sent to you for free for you to be able to use in your professional world. So just kind of all types of different things that we do throughout the semester, and you're able to utilize and access and interact with those any way that is convenient for you and helpful as you develop within your career and build that confidence. So as I mentioned, connecting with us, we are on every single campus. We love students. We're really passionate about the work that we do. You can stop in, you can connect with us on social media, you can call us, you can email us, but we really love to connect with you and get connected with you early. And so that way you develop that relationship, and we're not just another person in another office on campus. We are your champions. Like, we are going to help you every step of the way. We just always like to say, if you have a question that you're not even sure just who to ask, you can always come to the Career Center and we're going to find the right person for you and get you connected to them so you just don't get bounced around everywhere. So whether it's career related or just you related and your experience here at Tri-C, we are happy to help. So I know that's a lot of information, and I really hope that it was helpful. We've got about 11 minutes left. I know Eunice had some information she wanted to share as well, but I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and just kind of bring it back to conversation. If there's any additional questions you have about what we talked about today or just career in general, like this is open book time. You can ask any questions that you have, and I'm happy to try to answer them for you or find the resources to be able to do so.
I don't have any questions at this moment, but I do want to thank you for giving me the information from today. I filled up an entire Steno pad page full of information from you.
Awesome. I'm so glad it was helpful. I really appreciate that feedback. You know, we want it to be beneficial, and we do know that it's a lot, and you are sponges right now. You're trying to absorb as much as possible, but you do get to a fill point, right? And you're like, I can't absorb anything more. So if nothing else, just remembering that we're here. And then when you get here, stop in and say, hey, I went to this session. There was this crazy girl, Natalie. She told me a lot of things, but let me just tell you what my goals are. Help me get there. And then we're going to make an individualized plan for just you. So thanks, Day One. I really appreciate it. Deja, anything from you that last minute questions, things that we could help you with today? Just want to make sure you get everything you need before you leave this session.
Yeah, so our question being for me would be what would be some advice that you would give to someone who's not like new to school, but like just kind of new jumping back in? Honestly, I'm at a point in my life where, you know, I've hit that over 25 mark, going into 30. I don't want to speak too much, but kind of nervous to, you know, put themselves out there. I know there's my, you know, they always say it's never too late, but what would be some advice you would give to someone
Yeah.
that's kind of in that state?
So let me tell you what I hear from employers all the time. They love non-traditional students that have current work and life experience. And so I share that with you, not necessarily as a piece of advice, but my advice would be to have confidence in the fact that you are going to be wanted by employers and you are going to stand out to your faculty in your classes because you are coming in not just as a fresh student. You are coming in as somebody with those life experiences. You are going to have a different lens, a different emotional intelligence that you're able to bring to the table. And so employers love that because they can teach all of the technical skills. They're going to see that you have a certain degree. They're going to know that you have that knowledge base that you've built. But the things that they don't have time to train on typically is the communication, that interaction with that just makes it simple, your ability to work as part of a team. And so I just wanted to share that with you because I think one, you are not alone in having that concern. I think a lot of the time when you have left and you're coming back, for some reason you feel like you're wearing some kind of sandwich board and every single person knows. You know, it's just like you're writing yourself off. So just know it's okay to share whatever you're comfortable with anybody you're working with, but that fact, it shows persistence. It shows that you have tenacity and you're willing to work through things and challenges in life. And it's okay to go down a different path and then find a new one. I think all of those are so beautiful. And when I talk to employers, it's what brings value to candidates. So as you come back, just know that, I guess, hold that in your heart would be my piece of advice. And just know that it makes you really valuable to have had the experiences that you've had. And even more valuable for you to say, okay, it's time to come back. Let's do this again. And I'm more equipped this time because of those experiences. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, it was lovely to meet both of you virtually. When you come in, you're going to have to say, I didn't have my screen on, but I was in a workshop you did because I'll be like, do I know you? And you're just going to have to remind me if I get to meet you in person. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to Eunice. I know she's got a few more pieces of information. I will follow up with both of you. I'm going to send you this slide deck. You will have my direct email. You can reach out with any questions you have. So it's really been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I just wanted to briefly remind them that registration will open next week. So if you're planning to come back to Tri-C in January or any upcoming semester, feel free to reapply if you haven't yet. But if you're planning to come in the spring, reapply and complete your enrollment steps as soon as possible so you are able to find good class times and days because it feels super, super fast. I'm sorry. So just wanted to remind you about that and also let you know that we are having our final sessions tomorrow, one at 10 a.m. and another one at 11. At 10 a.m., we are having our recruiter, Bob Madison. He will be talking about all the career programs and just sharing brief information about the enrollment process and answering questions that you may have about a specific program or any health career program in general. And then we are having a bilingual session for those that would like to learn more about the Hispanic Council. They help with FAFSA, they help with enrollment, they also have scholarships. So there is a lot of support at Tri-C for all of you. And again, this is my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to connect with any of our presenters, or even, you couldn't, you have questions about any other opportunities, feel free to reach out to us. We will be happy to assist you. So thank you again for your time. We truly appreciate it. It was nice connecting with you. And again, if you are available tomorrow, feel free to join us, and looking forward to talking to you. Have a wonderful afternoon. Take care.